Hi, this is my week's video. I just wanted to start off by saying this is my surroundings. There is no notes anywhere from class. And I'm just gonna put you on the tripod. So today we're going to be going over the AKT pathway, and so this is the pathway right here, the steps. So a lot of time I'm running out, so I'm just gonna, since it's kind of hard to see, I'm just gonna go through them before we start. So the first step is a growth factor, or like a receptor is going to bind to the RTK, and that's going to activate, that's going to be activated, the PTK is going to be activated, and then that's going to lead to autophosphorylation. And then the adapter protein is going to bind to the receptor, and PI3-K or PI3 kinase is going to bind and become activated. And then so activated PI3K is going to phosphorylate PIP2, so PIP2, and PIP2 is going to turn into PIP3, and then which binds the PDK, and then PDK1 is going to phosphorylate AKT, which is part of the complex. AKT is then going AKT is then going to phosphorylate again and leave the membrane, and then mTORC2 is going to phosphorylate AKT, and that's going to be phosphorylated, and it's going to be, AKT is going to be active, which is where we're going to start our first question of this topic. So now that we went through that, I'm just going to erase this so I have more room. So, sorry, I don't want to erase. So the first question that we're going to be going over is, why is AKT always active? Or not like why is always active, or like what does that mean in a cancer cell? So what does it mean when AKT is always active in a cancer cell? So that is going to mean that there is a mutation in the pathway. So the pathway that we just went over, so if there's a mutation and like PIP1 can't go to PIP2, or like it can't phosphorylate and go to mTORC2 or something like that, then it could cause a mutation, which would not be able to make AKT become inactive after the pathway is complete. So this could lead to increased cell growth, since AKT has to do with cell growth. So it could do with increased cell growth, which in cancer cells would be a really bad thing, because it would increase the replication and cell growth, which even in a normal cell, like cell growth, if it gets out of hand and it's not regulated, then it could cause a huge issue for the cell system. And a mutation would just not be good in this situation, because of that whole scenario, that cell replicating, and it also wouldn't be able to regulate apoptosis to like prevent apoptosis. So what would happen is apoptosis might be more likely for the cancer cell if meaning the AKT is always active. So it's always active because there's a problem with the pathway, making it unable to become inactivated. So it's always active because there's a problem with the pathway. So the next question that we're going to go over is if P21 about P21. So P21 levels are going to increase because and they're gonna, what happens when AKT is always active, it's going to inhibit transcription, which is going to stop G2 in the cell cycle going into the sorry, I just drew that G weird. The G2/M phase of the cell cycle. So it's gonna have issues with going into mitosis of the cell cycle. And this could do because with AKT being always active, it can have an issue with, like I said, cell growth, cell cycle, unable to go to the next phase because it's going to inhibit the CDK complex that we talked about in the pathway. Now, the third question is, we kind of already went over, like, why is it always active? So the consequences in a healthy cell if AKT stays active, so cell growth issues, apoptosis issues, cell membrane issues. So we'll write these down. So it's going to affect cell growth. It's going to affect apoptosis. It's going to affect the cellular membrane. It's going to affect the cell cycle. It's going to affect transcription. It can lead to cancer. It can lead to neurological disorders. To name a few. So this is some of the issues that could happen when AKT is activated, always active in a healthy cell. So that's it.